Right. Okay. Now, what are we going to do here? Right. I need to bring up. Oh, we walk through Glenties. Now, we will take our usual route. So go through Google Street View. I think we got as far as we were just doing the Bank of Ireland, which was, I think you said it was the Ulster Bank back in the day, wasn't it?
It was the Ulster Bank, yeah.
Yeah. Right, now let's go for a wee walk. Where are we now? Aha, right. The last day we were literally standing around here virtually. Yeah, we looked at what was Melly's. Actually, we were standing right here. And we're looking at the Ulster Bank. No, just for continuity, we'll just finish the Ulster Bank, or Bank of Ireland as it is now. You said that was the Ulster Bank in your day?
That was the Ulster Bank when I came to Glenties first in the 1950s.
And did it just go, when did it change the Bank of Ireland?
I can't really remember.
Okay, come here. Do you know what I remember? Now that I think of it, we have a recording of this when we went through the street with Michael as well.
Right. Okay.
We do, because I think Michael was saying a few things about Bank of Ireland. I must go dig out that recording. I might put it on YouTube because I've probably edits to make. But anyway, okay. And the bridge. Was the bridge always that wide? I suppose it must have been.
Yeah.
So it's a wide bridge, isn't it? I mean, when would that bridge have been built? Must have been 19th century at some point, early 19th century, right?
Did we do Uncle John's old shop?
No, that's where we're next. You mean this one?
No, over where the where Alice is.
We did kind of
Ulster Bank. Did we do that?
Here.
Yeah.
You know what? We did, but let's do it again. Just make sure your story checks out. Yeah, so there's a split. There's two buildings here, wasn't there? There
was, on the left-hand side was the chip shop run by Frank Quinn and Kate. And then on the right-hand side was John Cunnan's bicycle and radio shop, and used to repair cars on the street as well.
Oh, repaired cars on the street?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Punctures and.
But there was no petrol pump there or anything like that.
Oh no.
Just repair to be small repairs, right?
Small repairs, yeah.
See, that'd be messy enough.
It was.
Yeah. And then how about, you wouldn't bring the cars down here?
No.
Well, that belonged to the chippers anyway. And was there any way a wee gate or anything to go down here?
No.
Right, so there was no access down to the river that way?
No.
Right. And when was that about?
That would have been
like when you moved to Glenties. What year did you move to Glenties again?
Oh, I moved to Glenties about 1954 or 55.
And was a shop there at that time?
No, it moved over to the new shop at that stage.
So when did he move, do you think?
He moved about 1952, I think.
Oh, not long before. Right.
Yeah, because his sister Annie died in 1953, and they weren't long in the new shop at that stage.
Oh, that's what sucks, yeah. And why did he move? Was it just not enough space?
He was renting that place, you see, from the Quinns.
Oh, he's renting that from the Quinns.
Yeah.
What Quinns are they now?
That was Kate Quinn and Kate and Frank Quinn.
Where did they live?
They lived above the chip shop, as far as I know.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
All right, so they split the building. That was a smart move. Right, and then after he left, So when John Connor moved across the road, who moved? Did the Gwynns take the whole thing over again?
Yeah, they took the whole thing over then. They moved the chip shop onto the right hand side then, which is a much bigger area.
And it was Quinn's chip shop, the whole thing then.
Yeah.
And then it became Melly's chip shop in my time.
Yeah, that was after the Quinns left. The Mellies bought it. Michael Melly bought it.
What year do you think that might have been?
Don't know.
I always remember.
You have to remember, I was missing from.
Oh yeah, you were missing. Yeah, you left the town when 1960.
In 1960, I would say 59.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 1959.
Yeah. So that's we have a little window here from the early 50s to the 1960s. Yeah. Now, all right. Well, we'll continue the John Connor story.
That was John Connor's new shop.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Now, you were saying that he built that.
Yeah.
Must have been 1950 or in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
1952 or so. And what was there beforehand?
A little house, the same as the yellow one next door. That's Haggerty's, the shoemakers. But there was a little house the same size as that, and there was a gate into the around at the side.
The gate here.
The gate that's there, except it wasn't as it would have been the house would have been only the same wood as the other one. I remember it.
Oh, aye. So the gate was on the riverbank proper.
It was basically on the riverbank, yeah.
Yeah, because the gate here is actually onto a sort of.
It's onto a platform,
yeah. Yeah, out over the river.
Yeah.
So he made the full use of the.
He made the full use of the site.
Yeah. And was there a yard at the back?
No, nothing. Straight into the river.
Jesus, that's just who built that? That wasn't easy to build.
No, I don't remember who the builders were. I might have some record of it somewhere. I'm not sure. The name Kildare might springs to mind, but I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, fair play though. It wasn't easily built, I'd say.
No.
And expensive enough build, because I say it's fiddly building.
Expensive enough at that time, yeah.
Yeah, tricky. And then, I remember it as John Connors shop, all right. And I think when we look at there's on YouTube and other sites, you can see the town from around that time, and you can see the Connors shop pretty clearly with its clock and all sorts of stuff.
That's right, yeah.
And then it became. When did John leave it?
John must have left it in, say, around maybe 1978, 79 or thereabouts,
That feels right. And then it was taken over by Paddy Lawler.
Melly's bought it, and Paddy Lawler rented to Paddy Lawler for he set up his chemist there.
Yeah, he did. It looked great. I remember it was really nice.
Yeah.
And what's it now? It's just somebody lives in it.
It's just vacant.
It's fully vacant. Yeah.
Fully vacant. Nothing else.
All right. Okay. Well, that's useful. Yeah. Somebody might do something at some point. Oh, there you go. The disabled parking must be the legacy of when it was a chemist.
Mm.
No, and here,
Paddy, that was when I came there. That pub was Charlie Ward's pub.
Charlie Ward's.
Yeah.
Any relation?
No, I don't think so. No.
Right. That was always a pub then.
Yeah. And then next door, the little small shop next door, that was a shoemaker's, Thomas Given shoemaker.
Wait a minute.
Thomas Given was from Loughnacruia.
No way.
Yeah.
Givens, there was Givens up in Loughnacruia.
Yeah.
Huh. So wait a minute. There's a shoemaker. I'm just going to point out: was this the shoemaker district?
Because yeah, Haggerty was a shoemaker. James Haggerty was a shoemaker as well. Yeah.
So they opened up right up.
Yeah.
The same kind of wee house as well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know what's going on there, but anyway. So, but I do remember Haggerty's. I remember being in there.
Yeah.
Fantastic wee place. Yeah. With the last and all. I remember seeing him to do the shoe repairs. But when did Given when did this cease being a shoemakers? Or was it still
The-
shoemakers when you left?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Not
What's
really
it?
remember.
You know, it's a house now, is it?
Yeah,
That was a shoemaker. So the town had two shoemakers at least.
they had two shoemakers. Yeah,
And did they actually make shoes, or they were just repairing shoes?
no,
Or what?
just repairs.
Just repairing. Yeah, but there must have been enough business to
Hmm.
keep everything going. And just to be clear, when there was Gibbon shoemaker, there was Higgery's were also in business.
I'm not 100% sure of that. You know.
All right, because
Mm.
that just seems like a lot of shoemakers.
Mm.
But anyway,
And next
that's
door
the
to
wee route.
yeah,
Mm.
next door to the shoemaker, then that shop used to be a chemist, Phil Cassidy's chemist.
This building here, or the whole unit, or
No, half the unit.
this wee unit?
And the other half, I remember there was a sister of Tom Cannon's that owned the hotel, lived there for a while.
All right.
And the next house then was Kathleen Burns.
Wait a minute. Now, were these shops, or they were just people lived in them as houses?
Well, I don't remember a shop on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side was a chemist. Phil Cassidy.
Yeah. I just meant the window here. It just looks like.
Yeah.
So what's here now?
It's vacant.
No, what was here? Sorry.
It was a drapery shop.
Who do you remember? Who now?
Kathleen Byrne ran it. And she was married to Thomas Brennan.
Oh, I hear. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. Of course. Right, and so that was a drapery shop in your day.
Yeah.
And was this here? This was all part of it.
That was all part of it. Yeah.
All right, so that's where.
I don't know if it was actually that configuration. I think that's slightly more modern, you know.
Yeah, it is modern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a wee yard down there.
There's a wee yard. There's a way back that you can go down there. There's a locked door there. It takes you down to the back of the house. Yeah.
But it's not for. It's obviously just for. It's not for.
Not for vehicular traffic.
No. That's so you must have to go around the back here somehow, was it?
I don't know how you get around the back actually.
Yeah.
Never been there.
All right. Yeah, when Brennan's, yeah, I remember. Yeah. So that's been a draperies there for a long time then.
It's there a good while, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what's across the road here. Okay. Now
And that was McDavid's grocery shop.
for cost cutters.
It's Cost Cutters now.
Hmm.
And it was Manus McDavid, I think, might have been the name that was on it. And then they had a pub as well, and then there was a shoe shop at the very end.
Here.
Yeah.
A shoe shop, right?
Yep.
Definitely is the shoe district, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't remember that.
Actually, I remember Eamon Boner's dad had that for a while.
Before he was up here somewhere, wasn't he? After. Yeah. Right, okay. And did people live above these shops?
Yeah. Well, not at first, but we in the 70s there was apartments up there, and we had the apartment, myself and Mum, and myself and Mum had the apartment above the shop, and we had you and Rosemary and you and Nuala up there as well. No, not Nuala. No, I think Nuala came to the new house.
Yeah. I'm not that I remember it, but I'm aware of that. That's right.
Yeah, but you and Rosemary certainly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And
then there was a kid Tolan lived up there, and Nora Quinn, who was a teacher in Dermacrosh, had an apartment up there.
She said, "Loves must find some photos from the 70s of this area because I remember it. Did it have some kind of wooden paneling on it?
Yeah, but see that shop changed from Manus McDavid's. It went to the Kellys that actually lived in Stony-Kevlin. It was James Kelly. He was a returned Yank, and then he sold it then to Paddy McHugh of Clooney, And Paddy was the fellow that made the apartments up there, and he was the guy we rented from.
Apartments, that was a good idea. Yeah.
Mhm.
Never would have thought of apartments as a thing back
Yeah.
then. Fair play to
And
him.
it has now been turned back into apartments again. There's 3 apartments being fitted out at the moment in it by
Yeah, fair play.
Darren
Yeah,
Melly.
good idea. And was that always an archway there or what?
I don't know actually. The usual way into that yard used to be around by the pub.
Back here.
Yeah.
No, this pub.
Yeah, Charlie Ward's pub, as they called it. Yeah, it used to go around the back there.
Oh, I remember being back there. There was a
Yeah.
flats back there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. I never went around the back. Is it still anyway? So well, there's an archway there now anyway. And then let me see. Have we look over here? What have we missed? The paper shop and
Paper shop was where to the right of the paper shop there was a small house, the same as Hegarty's.
here you mean?
Yeah, just there. And it was Johnny McHugh, I think was the name of the guy. He was I remember he was a white-haired man that used to cycle out. He had land out Stranaglaw, I think. You used to see him going out with his bicycle and bucket. It must be to feed a cow or something. And then the rest of the building was Tom Cannon's hotel.
Oh, I remember looking at this before when it had the nice little
yeah, they had a
what would you call
a
it?
porch type thing out there.
Yeah, that's right. That was a great wee porch.
Yeah.
I mean, what's what you need in Glenties, you know.
Yeah.
You be dry outside. Yeah, that was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That porch. So come here. This must be the original because see that old roof.
That is not an old roof. I think
that's just distortion in the
first thing that happened to that house. It was demolished, and I think it was Michael Joe Barney made an entrance down to the backyard. There, and then the whole thing was built up again, and I think that's a new roof.
So it might be a distortion from Google.
It might be a distortion from the photograph. I don't know.
Yeah, because that looks wonky.
Yeah,
looks old.
Wonky.
So you say that's right. This is all new, then, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
From when this building's new, from the 70s or 80s or something like that, or 90s even, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so that was a hotel. But it wasn't a very big hotel.
No.
Do you know anybody? Like, was it just half a dozen rooms or something?
I don't know. All I do remember is my mother bringing me in there on some occasion, and we had high tea, I suppose. Well, I don't know if you call it high tea, but I do remember a salad, ham salad, with lettuce and beetroot. And I'd never tested beetroot before and didn't know what it was. But I remember enjoying the ham and maybe I'm not sure was there chicken in it, and the tomatoes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
As a small kid,
Oh yeah.
it was a big treat.
Yeah, and was it a pickled beetroot? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll give you a shocker. That's great. And so there's a wee restaurant in there, is what you're saying?
There was, yeah, little dining room, yeah.
There couldn't have been that many hotel.
I wouldn't think so, no.
And but it had a yard anyway.
Yeah. So there you are.
Right. Okay. And then what have we got over here now? Any chance?
That was Dugan's.
Dugan's. What is it?
Dugan's. It was a pub, I think, originally.
Dugan's
Did they call it the Ross's Bar? Was there a name on the Ross's?
Oh, aye, that's what that was. Right, geez, everything changes. We'll have to hang on. Wait a minute. Let's go back in time here. Remember we were doing this? There we go. Look at this. We just come back to 2009. Do you see that?
Right.
Can you see what I'm doing? No, you can't see what I'm doing, I guess. There's a wee thing in Google Street View here where you can go back in time.
All right.
Slider. So I just come back to 2009. Look at this now. There was the Glen Inn.
Yeah.
That was which was a shoe shop.
No, I think the shoe shop was where the entrance is. I have a funny feeling the entrance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that was the pub.
I don't remember that entrance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Geez, look at this 2009. Sorry, just come back up to see if we missed anything. Oh, that's right. The post office moved
Post
there.
office was there for a while. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what have we got on the other side here?
Jared McCool Bookmakers.
That's right. Jeez, I forgot about that. Let's see. Actually, the building looks it looks pretty well there. Nicely painted.
Yeah.
And the paper stop. Hang on. Oh, this is great. Right, hang on. I'm gonna run up the town now to see do we miss anything interesting. Look. Glenties Medical Hall.
Yeah,
$100. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. A blast from the past. Anything else to quickly look? Jeez, no, I forgot about this wee feature of going back in time. That's the health food shop.
Yeah, that was yeah. What do you call her? Becht, Thomas Becht, Lucia Becht.
Fantastic. Keys. That's great. Anything else there? Yeah, this is. Out of the Buntings, I don't know what date was that. October 2009. McDavid's though.
McDavid's, yeah.
You see, yeah, it's McDavid's. There's it in modern day.
Yeah.
2021. Yeah, there's a bike. That's McDavid's now. Yeah, that's where I used to get the fishing tackle. Let's see, is there any... Why is the house here is deteriorating a wee bit? No, what else? Anything else up here? Oh, the weather's changed. Limelight. There's limelight. Looking a bit better looking.
Looking good, yeah. Freshly painted.
Maybe it doesn't look too bad now either. Right, let me see. All right, okay, now we'll run back down. Come here, do you know what? We might keep it stuck in time like this, 2009, and it might help.
Yeah, okay.
Can it trigger your memory? Where were we now? Jeez, now I forgot where we were. See, it's a nice day there. A nice October day there in 2009. You see, here we go.
And Joseph McAloon's, that used to be the post office. The two windows on the very right used to be the post office.
That's right, I remember that.
Yeah. And then there was a shop then, grocery shop then.
Oh no, I don't remember that. That's right. No, I'm Dalton.
No.
Over here, I remember the post office.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But
that was the exchange as well.
I came to Vantage first. The post office was where?
Was here.
There, yeah.
Was there? I don't know. What's it like these days? Aye, all right. I'm back in 2021 here. Oh, it's been remodeled. Oh no, not much. So wait a minute. If that was a post office, was there? What was here then?
I think that was the entrance to the house, and then there was another door into the shop.
Somewhere here.
Yeah.
And where there was, when you said it was a post office, that was literally just a post office.
It was just a counter and with a telephone exchange behind it. And,
it did have. That's what I was going to ask you. So it had the telephone exchange in there.
Yeah, manual telephone exchange.
Yeah, I do remember the manual over here. So why did they move the post office?
I cannot remember why.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. And this year was just a house, you reckon? Right. And then over here, we had. That's right. Wait a minute. This is another. Right. Do you remember what was here?
That was that Kellybeck Trade Union. That was what I would call the Ross's Bar. Dugans, they called it.
Oh, you were saying that, yeah. And we don't.
And then next door, the house next door was John the Butcher's.
This one here.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that too. Yeah, it's coming back to me.
Next
Was
one
that,
was Sweeney's.
come here, so this is what is the question, was that archery always there?
No,
It wasn't there.
no, not that
Hmm.
I remember. And John the Butcher had a yard at the back of the house, but he had no access to it. So he used to drive, he kept cattle. So he used to drive, the cattle used to be driven through that front door.
I remember that, you know.
Yeah.
That's why these arches then emerged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not having access to the back was a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
And what was this building, I wonder? What was this place?
That was Sweeney's.
What was that now?
It was when I came to Glenties first as a small child going to the harvest fair. That was the only place you could get ice cream in Glenties. The reason being that Glenties didn't have an ESB supply. That had a DC power supply from a power station up on the rock. But that shop there had a power supply from McDevitt's factory. And the reason being that I think James Sweeney was a director of McDevitt's, and he was able to get a supply from the McDevitt's. McDevitt's had their own generator.
Geez,
That's what I was told, anyhow.
And this was
that Glenties Furnishings. That Glenties Furnishings was one of the McDevitt factory buildings. It was full of knitting machines.
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, which I didn't realize, shows you how long I've been away. If I click on the modern day, that's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Wow. And that was the entrance, or that was. Can you remember much about
the entrance to the other two factory buildings at the back? Yeah.
Very good. Well, when did the McDevitt's factory close? 70s or something, was it? Or
yeah, it must have been the late 70s, I would think, because I was actually, it was 80s, because I started off in 1981.
Yeah.
I was doing work for McDevitt's. Jack Malay was the manager, and I remember supplying a compressor and bits and pieces to it, and I also used to maintain the steam boiler they had. So it must have been in the late 80s, I'd say, perhaps, that it closed.
Very good. And okay. Keeney's.
That used to be I remember that as a pub and restaurant called Sweeney's. I think I remember there was a restaurant in the basement, or maybe I'm wrong, but I know it was for a while.
Speaking of restaurants, didn't you tell me when you used to live with John Connan in the shop here, you would get your dinner
in Haggerty's?
Oh,
Haggerty used to make dinner for us.
That's Haggerty's.
Yeah.
Very good. So you'd go in there and get a
lunch or dinner. Yeah.
Get a lunch for a few quid.
Yeah, that was it.
That was a nice idea. That was well handy. I just were spoiled. Just came out
very handy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, let's go back down here again. So that was a restaurant. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry.
Well, for a while, anyhow. I don't know how long it lasted.
Foreigner restaurant, Sweeney's. I wonder who remembers more about that.
Yeah.
And what was this place?
I think it was just a dwelling house and such, And then next door was the warehouse, McDevitt's factory warehouse.
I do remember that now. I remember, sorry, that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice building, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the next building then, the other building, Aidan Campbell's mother used to live there, remember?
Oh, right. So that was, it looks like it might have once been a shop, no? Or was it ever a shop? No.
Oh, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But she used to live there when you were there.
I remember her there, yeah.
And now, before we get too far away, any memories about these two places?
That was the left-hand one was where Danny Sweeney lived. You know Danny that you're talking about? Young Danny and old Danny. His father lived there.
Right.
There was Sweeney as well.
And here?
Don't know who lived in that house.
Somebody will know.
Yeah.
Again, that looks like it could have been a shop. I mean, it looks like it's a shop now, but
no, that actually, I think that building has been newly rebuilt, you know.
Well, here's 2009, 2021. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, not much change.
That must change now.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. And here,
That was a McDevitt building.
sorry, all the place here. That was a what?
That belonged to the McDevitt factory people as well. And the entrance next door, see with the gate on it, that's a gate that we Whitegate Engineering made for them. That's the back entrance to Phelan's pub, and also the entrance to the boiler room for McDevitt's factory. And it took you around the back of the buildings there.
Ah, right. And you know, when you say this was McDevitt's, what was it? A residence or what was it?
No, and see that small window above the gate. I remember that as an office. I remember going up there to get paid.
All right, so that was the entrance there then.
Yeah, it's the entrance. Yeah.
And then what was that? Somebody's house or?
I don't know. Can't remember what exactly was on.
Again, looks like it would have been a good design for a shop.
Mm.
And then okay, and then there's Phelan's here.
Oh, Phelan's, the famous of Phelan's, yeah.
Yeah. And were they always there when you were there?
They were, yeah. When I was there, they had geese, and they used to the geese used to come out and lie on the street. And you'd see this procession of 7 or 8 or 9 geese parading out and lying on the street.
Oh,
For
they
some
come out,
strange reason.
where did they come out of?
Out of the yard, I presume.
Oh, is that yard there?
Yeah.
Well, there's a wee yard over here too. Isn't there?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe there was that. I don't know.
All right, anyway. So that's so they've been there as long as you can remember.
Yeah, as long as I remember, there was an old field in there. Yeah.
Right. So now then, let's go back because we got ahead of ourselves on one side. Now, you were saying that was
A Campbell House. Yeah.
Campbell's, and then what was here?
This was Manus or Bernard McDevitt and Company grocery shop.
Ah,
Or not grocery, drapery shop.
sorry, it was a grocery or a drapery?
No, drapery, clothes.
Drapery.
And
Right.
I remember it was the frontage of the building was sort of a black marble or like black glass, you know. And yeah, that was McDevitt.
And then, and that the whole way across here.
Yeah, that whole block, yeah. And the big yard down the back.
And here.
That was part of it as well.
Really?
As far as I remember, I think.
Was it a few?
Well, I'm not 100% certain.
Ah, well, all right. Somebody will remember it and then put it in the comments.
I thought, yeah.
Right. Okay. No bother. Right, we caught up now, and then where the pharmacy is now, what was there?
When for the pharmacy is now, it may have. Columelli had a house there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that up here? No, yeah.
Before Column, I can't remember. There was a National Bank there in one of the buildings, but I think it might be the next door where the
K2 is.
roller shutter door is, you know.
Yeah.
That's all been changed, you know. But there was the National Bank, which was a precursor of Bank of Ireland, was up there somewhere.
So we're doing what I might do after this. I'll there's some old footage of Glenties.
Yeah.
Online where we brief look there and we just tidy up a few stuff and put a separate video. Now, these houses.
No, don't know who lived there when I came.
Okay. They look like they're residential anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, it was residential, and then the other building was the McDevitt Institute.
That's right, the McDevitt Institute. That's your
my old alma mater.
And did it say, was this
It
up
did,
part?
yeah.
Does it say something up here?
Institute Clondad or something like that.
Ah, very good. So when?
Yeah, the priest, the principal lived next door. The door's gone now, but that was the
On
main
the right-hand
entrance
side?
there. Yeah.
Over here?
No, on the left-hand side. Yeah.
I say the doors are, look, if you look,
Yeah.
there's something not right there. One of these is probably the door.
Yeah. So that
That might have been the door there. See,
it probably was. That was Father McLaughlin was the principal when I was there.
just straighten up on that. What's his name? Father McLaughlin.
Father McLaughlin, yeah.
And what was across the road from you then when you looked out?
That is, it was it Rutledge's bar? Now, yeah.
And sorry, do you know what that was?
There was always a dwelling house, I remember.
All right.
I think was it Rogers lived in it?
Rogers.
Rogers, yeah, I think.
That was Rutledge's bar, right?
Yeah.
Was that somebody's name?
No, it's Leo's now.
No, but
Paddy Rutledge, I think they call him, I think it was Paddy Rutledge, or was it James Rutledge? I remember when I came to Glenties as a child, going through it, I vaguely remember that building as being practically in ruins. And then this guy, Rutledge, was supposed to have won money in the sweeps or something, and he took it over and did it up. And what was a big deal, once electricity, ESP came to Glenties, he had a rainbow bar on the left-hand side. The bar was, and you could see a rainbow arch of neon, red neon.
I remember that.
American style.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was called the Rainbow Bar, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Rainbow was a neon sign.
Yeah, that was great.
And the Cope was always the Cope.
Cope was always there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was that a residential? What was that?
Yeah. Do you see that window there? I remember them selling the Sunday press from that window. They'd slide up the window and you'd go up to the window on a Sunday morning coming from mass and get your paper out the window.
All right, so it was a flats upstairs then,
yeah,
was it?
Must have been, yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. Co-op, very good. And then the
yes,
hotel ended here.
Yeah.
And the hotel.
Yeah, there was a hotel. They had petrol pumps outside. They had a grocery shop, and they had a bottling plant at the back for the bottled Guinness and distributed it.
That's right. That's right. I remember. Yeah, there used to be petrol pumps randomly around the place. Wasn't
there was petrol pumps at the Cope there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
there was petrol pumps there, and there's petrol pumps across the road, and you'll see photographs at the hotel.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it. It wasn't operational, I think.
Yeah.
It's
and that building there was a McDevitt building. It was, I think, it was actually originally the old RIC station.
Yeah.
There was a porch in it with a round brown window in it, and was a relation of the McDevitts ladies lived in that house.
Oh, I remember you and Michael talking about that when we were going through the old. Was it the Lawrence collection photographs, or what's the?
Yeah, probably the Lawrence photographs might have been,
Yeah. And okay, it was a hotel. Yeah. And yeah, we have some nice. I think I've recorded you talking about that before with the hotel and so on. And then that's the barracks.
Barracks, yeah.
The Rock, and up here is where the generator station was, isn't it?
Yeah, right up where the old there's remains of an old garage.
Actually, let's go up there and see if we can just very quickly capture it. I'll be run back down in a minute.
Yeah.
See, did the street view go up here? It did indeed. There it is.
That's it. That was a generator station there. I remember they had a big cooling water tank outside it, and a building and a generator, and you could hear it starting up in the evening when dusk came.
Very good.
Thump, thump, thump.
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, what have you got up here? Jeez, a nice view up here.
Yeah.
Which is the back way into the
yeah.
to the
Back, mate. See that yellow house there? That was the co-op manager's house.
All right.
Manager's house.
How are these houses here? I'm always very vague on these. You wouldn't remember any of these, would you?
Not really.
Well, all residential.
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't be getting into people's houses. Let's see how we get back down the street. What do the guards have in these sheds?
Don't think that belongs to the guards.
Who owns that?
I think it
Oh,
belongs.
sorry, yeah. Sorry, geez, you're right. I've skipped.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay, yeah. When I want to focus on public buildings, right? I suppose that's the guards back down, right? It's the old school,
Mm-hmm.
the market hall. That's the extended market hall. Remember, the market hall was a lot smaller.
That's extended, yeah, completely
Yeah.
extended.
Geez, yeah, it was small back in the day. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's the Highlands, and there's a wee bit that gets complicated. This is in Campbell's, isn't
That's
it?
Campbell's house, yeah, and then the yard. That's the yard for the hotel.
And there's the actual factory, was it?
No, that's the office buildings at the back of Aiden. Aiden has his offices up there.
Well, where was the factory again?
You have to go past Aiden's and look down to the left or to the right. I mean,
Down there,
yeah, down there, all the factory buildings there. If you look,
I can't really get a good view on it now.
they're directly behind the building there. You go down there, and
I won't be able to. And the bowling alleys. Sorry, bowling.
There used to be a handball alley there. Handball alley was there.
Yeah. Jeez, I remember young fellas climbing all the way up the back of that.
Yeah, standing on top of the wall was a big deal.
Oh Jesus, that looked lethal.
Brave your manhood, stand on top of the.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pity they knocked that, but I guess it was falling into disrepair, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Was it a handball alley when you were growing up?
It was. I used to play handball there. And the big deal was if you hit the ball and it went into the courtyard, backyard, you had to go round to the front door and knock on the door and hope the caretaker would go down for you.
Let's pick up a ball.
Pick up a ball, and he was, if I remember, he was always slightly grumpy, you know.
I say
so it'd be a nudge. Who'll basically play a game of who'll bell the cat.
Yeah, I would say he was tortured with you know, because it was. I say it's handy to knock a ball over the court.
Yeah.
So he'd be up and down every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Drive him nuts, I'm sure. And there's a courthouse.
Yeah. And then there's the lodge, which was apparently built by the Marquis of Cunningham as a hunting lodge, but Dr. McCloskey lived there, and his son still lives there, Malcolm.
Yeah, I remember it as Dr. McCloskey's, and that's yeah, you go down here, down the side here.
In the back, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you went to see the doctor, that's right. And maybe we'll just finish off a wee bit here, because I do remember important shop for me growing up was Cormac Quinn's.
Cormac Quinn's, yes. Yeah, no, that was Harry Gillespie's garage there.
That's right.
Before that, it was a fella from Dunlow, Jackie Brennan owned it, and before that, it was a bottling plant. Was it Mother? No, it wasn't Mother Ryan's. Was it? Some mineral. I think the bottled minerals there. I can't remember which.
No way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that was little residence. I don't know who lived there. And next on that was Cormac Quinn.
Cormac Quinn's here, yeah. I remember that's where we get our get
second-hand clothing.
Yeah.
Work.
So I remember he's a nice stove in there.
Yeah, he had a big, he had a cast iron stove in the middle of the shop. Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was a great big place. She's around small now. My memory was huge.
Yeah,
and then of course there was
no fire station though.
The convent was up there.
There was a convent there, up there somewhere.
That's right, the convent's completely gone. Jeez, it was
gone.
Trying to find some old photos to. Yeah, that's right. Convent was great. Remember his wee glass house? I always remember that because I remember they were growing grapes in it. I don't think they ever ripened, but I do remember Anyway, and then it's a church, and then there's right. This is an extension.
That's the health center, yeah.
So was it?
That's the new health center.
All right, totally missed that. Yeah. I'll bring us back up to 2021 in this picture. Right. Now, well, look, sure it'll do this. No, is there any point going up here? I remember the old chapel was where exactly? Here?
Yeah, you go on up.
Hang on, what have we missed? There's the old fire station.
Yeah, that wasn't there when I came.
It wasn't there.
No.
And were those public toilets there?
No. In those days, you didn't have public toilet.
Yeah,
In the nearest bush or whatever.
Come here. So where exactly was the old church? I mean, I could look it up in an ordnance.
Yeah, just on up. That's playground entrance there. Next entrance. Now, look up.
That way?
Yeah, can you see the parochial house?
There, we'll go back in time. Easier to say. There we go. Parochial house is up there. Here,
yeah.
Down a bit.
Well, yeah.
There.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, well, you see where the school is, where that's new, where the new, yeah, that's roughly where the church was.
Where the school was?
Yeah, that building there, yeah.
All right.
That
the parochial house was beside it, obviously.
The parochial house was right beside it, yeah.
Anything else that was here at the time? That's the curate's house, wasn't it?
That's the curate's house, new house, that was.
That was new, it wasn't there in your day.
But that old school was there, that's the old school, that was there.
No, okay, that was there, so that was the actual school for boys, girls, what was it?
No, there was that was a boys' school. The girls' school
was down here.
Further down, the nuns.
Yeah. All right.
Boys and girls were not allowed to mix in those days.
All right. So then the boys' school moved over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, sorry, that makes sense. So I mean, and then was this housing estate there when you were growing up?
That must have been built in the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. That was the first estate, was it?
That was the first estate, proper estate in Glenties, yeah.
Or whatever you would call it, yeah.
Yeah.
Ardconnell, all right.
Ardconnell.
And that was basically the extent of the town. It's all residential down here, or people's houses. So anyway. Okay, well look, that's not a bad capture. Do you know what I just realized? We've done bits of this before when we did with Michael, when we were doing some old photographs. I might bring them up now. I'm gonna switch off this recording now and see what else I can find. Anyway, that's great.